Lying on your back and just bring a hand to your belly, one to your chest, and take some nice deep breaths into your belly, starting to get in tune with your breathing. Nice big inhale all the way to the bottom of your belly, and exhale to release, letting go of your breath. We're going to do a fire flow, so really strengthening, creating energy, using all our muscle groups. So it's going to be quite a strong practice. So just taking some nice deep breaths to prepare for the practice. And then gently just bringing your knees to your forehead, giving yourself a hug, taking a little rock side to side, giving yourself a little massage on your back. And then taking the outsides of your feet, bringing your knees into your elbows, rocking side to side for happy baby. Just taking nice little opportunity to rock back and forwards. And then you're going to start rocking up to seated, but not putting your feet on the floor. So rocking up, keeping your legs lifted, rocking back, taking this a couple more times. And then staying at the top with your legs lifted in Navasana, boat pose. So really squeezing your core here, trying to keep everything nice and engaged. You can straighten your legs if you want to challenge yourself. And then crossing over your legs and rolling onto all fours. Taking some cat-cows here, so making sure that your shoulders are over your wrists, arching your back, and then inhaling to look forwards, exhaling to round your back in cat pose. And then lifting up your right leg behind you, starting to take some pulses with that leg, engaging your glute, really switching it on, up and down with that back leg. Squeezing both glutes together, sticking that leg out behind you, and then your left arm out to the side. Trying to balance here, holding both limbs, trying to make sure your shoulder's over your arm, your wrist even, and then placing, bringing that hand back in, and knee to elbow, stretching out, knee to elbow, releasing, one more time, exhale, knee to elbow, inhale, stretch, and then placing your hand and your knee back down on the mat. Left leg comes up, start to engage that glute, feel it working, up and down, some little pulses here. And then bringing that leg out behind and your right arm out to the side. Really engaging your core here to try and keep your balance, everything squeezing to the midline. And then exhale, knee to elbow, inhale, stretch. Exhale, knee to elbow, inhale to stretch. And one more time, squeezing your core and stretching. Nice, trying to keep your balance. And then coming back down onto all fours. Tucking your toes and lifting your hips off the floor, your knees, and then rolling up, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Just taking a little walk with your dog. It's the first one of the day, trying to make sure that you're in a nice strong position. Right leg comes up behind, bend the knee, take a couple of circles, getting into your hip, looking to your hands, placing the foot between your hands, and your back leg down on the floor, rising up for a low lunge. So your knee is over your ankle, not any further forward, and if you like, you can take a little back bend here. Making sure your hips are level to the front of the mat, placing your left hand to the inside of your foot, reaching up to the right side. Nice big stretch, lifting through those top fingertips, and then framing your foot, taking that back and holding plank. Holding, and then slowly coming down onto your knees and up to downward dog. Left leg coming up behind. You're bending your knee, taking some circles, bringing it between your hands. Back foot down on the mat. You can have your toes lifted or flat against the mat, whatever feels better. Rising up, low lunge. Taking that little back bend if it feels good. Otherwise, focus on getting your hips in a nice straight line, parallel with the short front of the mat. Bringing that right hand to the inside of your foot, opening up, stretching, feeling that twist in your side body, breathing all the way from the base of your spine, the crown of your head. Framing your foot, taking your leg back, holding plank, squeezing everything to the midline, rocking forwards and lowering down, lying on the mat. Tops of your feet pushing into the mat, pushing up and then lifting your hips up to the sky nice and slowly, downward facing dog. Really pushing through your hands here to get a nice strong foundation for this pose. And then taking some little hops, so kicking your feet up towards your bum really creates energy, playing with how it feels to balance, and then jumping between your hands, folding forwards over your legs, knees bent, looking up, halfway lift, straight spine, exhaling to fold, and inhaling, rising all the way up to stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. Hands by your side, just taking a breath here, and then taking your right leg behind you, rising up, high lunge this time. And then twisting. Rising back up and placing your hand to the outside of your front foot and reaching over head. So trying to not dump your weight onto your leg, trying to lift through those top fingertips while keeping your back leg nice and strong and glutes nice and engaged. Coming back up, high lunge, and you this time can bring your arms forwards, keeping that bend in your front knee, framing the foot and bringing that leg behind you. You can keep it lifted, you can bring it down as you make your way through Chaturanga, elbows in towards your ribs, upward dog, lifting your hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Taking those little kicks to your bum again, energizing, and then between your hands, jumping, folding forwards over your legs. You can keep your knees bent, lifting up, looking forwards, halfway lift, exhaling to fold down over your legs, and then inhaling to rise all the way up to stand. Hands coming through heart center, down by your side. Taking the other leg back, rising up, high lunge. And then placing your hand to the inside this time, opening up overhead. Rising back up and reaching forwards with your fingertips. Framing your foot, bringing that leg behind you, rocking forwards, maybe keeping the leg lifted and coming down through Chaturanga, upward facing dog, rolling over your toes, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. The aim isn't to get your feet on the floor. Lifting your right leg up behind you, bending your knee, taking some circles, looking between your hands, placing that foot between your hands, Back foot's parallel to the short side of the mat, rising up, warrior two. Nice bend in your front knee, nice strong back foot, reaching forwards, taking your palm towards the sky, and reversing your warrior. And then placing your right hand on the inside of your thigh, reaching up overhead with your left hand. Trying to keep that bend in your knee, trying to keep both feet strong on the mat, lifting through your chest here. So you're not just dumping your weight onto your leg. Rising back up, warrior two. Windmilling your hands down to frame your front foot, taking the leg back. Holding plank, lowering down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog, lifting your hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. Left leg's coming up behind you. Looking between your hands, placing the foot between your hands, rising up, warrior two. On this side, reaching forwards, palm comes to the sky, reverse your warrior. So your back hand can just be down your leg, or you can bring it behind your back. Trying to keep your alignment right in your legs. And then reaching forwards and placing that left arm on your leg, opening up through your right side. Breathing space all the way up your side, your right hand side, and then coming back, warrior two. Windmilling your hands down to the mat, frame that front foot, taking the foot back and holding plank, lowering down, Chaturanga, hands under your shoulders, lifting your chest, cobra, tucking your toes and slowly bringing your hips to the sky, lifting through your tailbone to get a nice downward dog here. Right leg's coming up behind and placing it between the hands, rising up, high lunge. You might want to take a little back bend here and then twisting to the right hand side. Arms coming back overhead, framing the foot, taking it back, lowering yourself down, maybe not holding plank, squeezing everything into the midline, shoulders a nice straight line over your wrist, lifting one leg, maybe lifting the other leg, holding, maybe rocking backwards and forwards, really squeezing your core, squeezing your thighs, inner thighs together, rocking backwards, forwards. Couple more breaths, and then bringing your hips up to the sky, downward dog. Left foot comes up between the hands, rising up, high lunge. Trying to take it a little bit deeper, and then twisting to the left side. Maybe trying to look over your backhand if you can. Lifting up through your pelvic floor all the way up, squeezing everything. Inhaling, arms up, frame your foot. And take the leg back. Holding plank. And then lifting your hips up to the sky for downward facing dog. Jumping between your hands at the front of your mat, folding over your legs, taking opposite elbows, rocking side to side. And then inhaling to look up, halfway lift. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling to rise all the way up. To stand. Hands come through heart center and down by your side. Left leg comes back behind you, and you bring your hand under your shoulder, Vashisthasana, side plank. Play maybe with lifting that top leg if you can, otherwise keep both legs on the floor. And then coming back round and into a three-legged dog. Rocking forwards, coming down, inhaling, lifting your chest. Exhaling, hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. Now bring both forearms to the floor and play with lifting one leg and lifting the other leg if you can. Maybe you want to give it a little hop. And then lifting up, back into downward dog, coming between your hands, the front of your mat, lifting up halfway, folding forwards, and rising all the way up to stand in mountain pose, Tadasana. Taking your right leg back behind you, rising up, high lunge. Placing that right hand in front of your mat, making a nice straight line with your hands, and then coming round into side plank, Vashisthasana. Trying to keep everything engaged, your hips lifted away from the mat. Play with lifting that up top leg if you can, and then rocking down, rolling back to a normal plank, lifting up, three-legged dog, and then coming forwards, three-legged chaturanga. Inhaling, lifting your hips, downward facing dog. Helping to the outside of your hands at the front of your mat, taking Malasana squat. So just using your outer arms to push the inside of your legs. And then taking your left arm round your left leg and reaching up with your right arm. Feeling that twist. And then coming back to center, trying to keep your tailbone down, lifting through the crown of your head. Nice long spine. And then taking it to the other side. Coming back through the center. And then coming back to forward fold, looking up halfway, folding back down, rising all the way up. Hands come through heart center, mountain pose. Bringing your right foot to the front of the mat, taking a wide stance, trying to keep your tailbone low, feet pointing slightly outwards. Squat down for goddess. Trying to keep a nice long straight spine. Just wiggle side to side, play with lifting one heel, lifting the other. Maybe you can balance on the balls of your feet while keeping that squat, while keeping that bend in your knee. Holding it here. Maybe you can sink a little bit lower as you exhale. And then slowly coming up to stand. Taking your feet to the front of the mat. Inhaling, rise up. Exhale, folding forwards. Hands looking up, folding, and then stepping or jumping back to plank, keeping your elbows bent. Rocking forwards, lowering down to the floor. Lifting one leg, lifting the other leg. Getting ready to lift your chest as you try and bring your arms out in front of you. Superman. And then just bring your head to your hands. Take a little inhale as you lift up, this time trying to bring your legs up as well, really engaging your core and your glutes here so you protect your lower back, looking forwards, and then coming back down to the mat, wiggling side to side, and then taking the outside edges of your feet, getting ready to go up into bow pose. So squeezing your thighs together, squeezing your glutes, engaging your core and lifting your chest up for bow. Breathing and then coming back down, wiggling your hips side to side, hands coming by your side, tucking your toes, slowly lifting yourself up to plank. And then bringing your hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Right leg comes up and we're doing a little push up, pushing it back up. Exhaling, bringing it over to the right elbow. Inhaling up, exhaling down, stretching up behind you, leg comes down, we'll take it to the opposite side, left leg's up behind, and you bring it over to your right, to your left elbow even. Left elbow, inhale, and then bring it over to the elbow. And then place your foot down. Looking between your hands, taking a little hop at the front of your mat, letting your bum come down, keeping your legs lifted. And just giving yourself a minute to come up into Navasana, boat pose. Maybe you want to try and straighten your legs if you can, but keep a nice long spine and tight core to keep those legs lifted, slowly coming down. Bringing your knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug. Little rock side to side. Legs up, facing your face. Nice straight line, and then lowering slowly the right leg all the way down to the mat. Using your lower belly, not letting it come down all the way to the floor. Inhaling to lift back up. Go for the same on the other side. Left leg down towards the floor. Lifting back up. And then right leg down, not all the way, and then lifting up. Left down, not all the way, lifting back up. Then see if you can reach your legs as you lift your chest towards them. And then we're going to just do some toe touches, so trying to come up towards your toes, using your core here. And then taking a little rock side to side. You just lie down on the mat, fully relaxing, enjoying the benefits of that practice, the energy you've created, and just letting yourself fully, deeply relax into the ground beneath you.